It's Friday, May 5th, and this is now on HNN. Before the Red Hill crisis, there was another chemical spill at Pearl Harbor that the public didn't know about. Mahealani Richardson breaks down the investigation.
His pants were all the way down to his ankles while he was using the urinal.
An Oahu mom is pursuing charges after her son with severe disabilities is cyberbullied at Campbell High School.
The World Health Organization says the COVID-19 pandemic is no longer a global emergency as the CDC director resigns.
They will be the defending champs for one more night in 2023.
These stories, plus the UH men's volleyball team prepares to take on UCLA in the NCAA Finals. A live report from Fairfax, Virginia, coming up on This Is Now.
And good afternoon. Thanks for joining us here on This Is Now. In about an hour, the military will hold a news conference where they're expected to release the video of the Red Hill fuel spill that led to a water crisis that impacted thousands of Navy families.
Yeah, meanwhile, we also learned of another toxic water spill at Pearl Harbor over a year and a half ago that the public didn't know about until now. Mahealani Richardson breaks it all down.
Well, today the Red Hill Task Force will have a news conference at 1 p.m. And this is something that many people have been highly anticipating since that AFFF spill happened on November 28th of last year. At that spill, 1,300 gallons of AFFF, or toxic firefighting foam, spilled from Red Hill. And this was literally just around the anniversary of the Red Hill fuel spills that happened in 2021. Now, for 5 months now, activists and many people in the community have been wondering, let's see the video, let's know more about this investigation. But the military had constantly said that it needed to follow the process. And so it'll be very interesting to see what this video looks like. We understand the video is 11 hours long, Dylan, and of course we're hoping that they will let us see a cut down version of it, but it is 11 hours long. And we do know that regulators from the Environmental Protection Agency and Department of Health have already seen it as part of their investigation.
That's an incredible video, and we're definitely keeping an eye out and eagerly anticipating that video. Now, have you seen this video, or can you describe what is going to be shown in that video?
Well, Dylan, I haven't seen the video personally, but because regulators have seen it as part of the investigation, they've been able to describe the video to me. So I've heard its description from several different people, and I wanted to quote Phoenix Grange. She's the Department of Health's groundwater lead. We broke an exclusive story with an interview with her where she described the video, and I'm just going to quote in terms of what she said. She said, "You see people coming in and out, and at some point you see the AFFF compound, which just looks like water in that case, coming out under, and so it's outside the facility." And so she's talking about the AFFF, that toxic firefighting foam, seeping out from under a door. And this was caught on a surveillance camera. So this is something that we're going to be very interested in seeing. Many people have been calling for the release of this video, but again, Dylan, the military has said that it needed to follow the process. Now, also in terms of what caused the spill, we had heard from our sources that it was apparently caused by some sort of contractor. In fact, after this AFFF spill, the Red Hill fuel tanks were under the jurisdiction of Navy Region Hawaii. But after the AFFF spill, then the Red Hill Task Force, which is in charge of defueling Red Hill, basically took over jurisdiction of the fuel tanks.
Thank you so much, Maheo. We also know there was another spill that you reported on yesterday at Pearl Harbor. If you can quickly tell us about that.
Right. That spill happened more than a year and a half ago, and coincidentally, it happened 1 month before the Thanksgiving fuel spills in November 2021. Now, in this case, it was 300,000 gallons of water that burst from a water main at Joint Base Pearl Harbor Hickam, and this happened at an oil reclamation facility. Basically, the facility separates oil from water so that the oil and fuel can be used again. So after this flood, there was an apparent mix of oil and water, and then our sources told us that and these were exclusive interviews. We had to distort their voices to protect their identities. They said that at the time, they saw that there was a foamy appearance to the mixture, to this toxic mixture, and that told them that there must have been AFFF in that toxic mixture. Well, just late yesterday, Navy Region Hawaii released a statement and said that they are considering that this mixture has PFAS in it. Even though they've never tested it, they're finally acknowledging that there might be PFAS in this toxic mixture, and that means a whole new level of regulation and jurisdiction over this toxic mix.
Mahea, thank you so much for staying on top of all of these toxic spills and getting the answers that the people of Hawaii deserve. We will be streaming that 1 p.m. press conference on the Red Hill. Be sure to stay tuned to the Hawaii News Now digital apps. Hawaii County Police have charged Christopher Howland with murder for allegedly killing his mother-in-law with a sword. 58-year-old Terry Apple was found dead last Friday in Orchidland. Police say they found her lifeless body with severe knife wounds to her neck, upper body, arms, and hands. According to authorities, Howland tried to commit suicide but survived. His bail is set at $1 million.
Happening today, we're expecting more details on a fatal officer-involved shooting in Kailua back in 2020. 33-year-old Dallas Pierce was shot and killed by plainclothes officers in a parking lot at the Aikahi Gardens housing community. Pierce had been wanted by police after failing to return from work furlough about 7 weeks prior. Police say they saw Pierce with a gun and believed they were in danger. That claim was disputed by Pierce's then-girlfriend, who was also at the scene. Prosecuting attorney Steve Alm will hold a 1 p.m. press conference on the incident today. We'll have more coverage on HNN later this afternoon.
There was a major crash this morning that brought westbound traffic to a standstill on the H1 freeway. Video shows a cement truck flipped on its side, blocking multiple lanes. This is on the airport viaduct just before the Pearl Harbor cutoff. It happened around 8 this morning. HPD, the Honolulu Fire Department, and EMS officials responded to the scene. At last check, no severe injuries were reported.
An Eva Beach woman wants school administrators to take more action after her son with disabilities was photographed by another student as he used a urinal in a school restroom, and that photo was posted online. The incident happened on April 17th at Campbell High School. Melissa Harper Osai says she was informed about it a day later by the vice principal. She says her son is a freshman and has multiple disabilities, including autism and genetic anomalies.
A student found it interesting, humorous, whatever, in my opinion, because his pants were all the way down to his ankles while he was using the urinal, and decided at that moment in time to take a picture of him.
The Department of Education says Campbell High School conducted an investigation and took appropriate action against the offending student, but couldn't say more because of privacy laws. Harper Osai has filed a police report and plans to file charges.
The World Health Organization made it official today. It is ending the emergency it declared for the COVID pandemic 3 years ago. It's a milestone for the fight against a virus that upended the global economy, locked down nations, and killed millions. In practice, it will not change much except to acknowledge that the human relationship with this particular virus has evolved. The virus is still spreading, which is why it will maintain pandemic status, much like HIV. But because of the high levels of immunity from vaccination and infection, health experts agree it's time to change the designation. The United States will officially lift its COVID emergency on May 11th. Meanwhile, Dr. Rochelle Walensky is stepping down as director of the Center for Disease Controls and Prevention. In a letter to President Biden, Dr. Walensky said the end of the COVID-19 public health emergency would also be the end of her tenure at the CDC. During her 2+ years leading the agency, Dr. Walensky not only led efforts to control the pandemic, but also monkeypox, Ebola in Uganda, and other infectious diseases. In a statement, President Biden praised Dr. Walensky, saying, quote, "She led a complex organization on the front lines of a once-in-a-generation pandemic with honesty and integrity. Dr. Walensky will leave at the end of June. We don't yet know her replacement."
Despite some high-profile layoffs recently, the job market remains better than expected. But there are signs that hiring could slow down soon. Astrid Martinez has more.
Many businesses continue to put out the hiring sign. The Labor Department says restaurants and bars added 25,000 jobs in April. Healthcare also brought on 40,000 workers. And several states are experiencing record low unemployment, including Mississippi, where this job placement firm is seeing higher demand.
We can definitely notice the uptick here of people wanting to work.
Overall, the U.S. economy added a better than expected 253,000 jobs last month, and the unemployment rate ticked down to 3.4%, a 54-year low. But the positive numbers come with a caveat, because revised data for February and March show hiring was much weaker than previously estimated.
I think the labor market is actually in transition right now. So we are seeing that job growth is starting to moderate.
Growth is moderating because many corporations are letting people go. The e-commerce platform Shopify is cutting 20% of its staff, and 3M, the company behind Post-it notes and Scotch tape, is laying off 6,000 workers globally. The murky labor picture complicates the Federal Reserve's strategy of raising interest rates to slow the economy and inflation.
The Fed doesn't want to say this out loud. What they really hope for is job losses, the unemployment rate rising, and wage growth moderating.
This week, Chairman Jerome Powell indicated a possible pause on future rate hikes, but insisted the board will boost rates again if needed. Astrid Martinez, CBS News, New York.
New vaccines are being tested to prevent avian flu in birds, but experts say ending the historic outbreak isn't as simple as a vaccination. For more than a year, the U.S. has been battling its biggest outbreak of avian influenza in wildlife. The risk is low to humans, but it's been a major threat to commercial bird flocks, particularly in the poultry industry, leading to higher food prices. Avian flu also started to show up in hundreds of mammals, including a handful of pet cats. The approach in the U.S. right now is not vaccination, but eradication of the virus. If farmers detect even a single case in a flock, they will put all the birds down right away, because vaccinated birds could still pass the virus to unprotected birds.
We'll take a look at the streets of London. Thousands have already staked out the area, claiming their space ahead of tomorrow's royal coronation of Prince Charles III. You can watch it live on KGMB and KCHNL starting just after 11:30 tonight, and our special network coverage goes all the way until 4 a.m. Now, for more on the festivities, we want to bring in HNN's Washington correspondent, Josh Raltenberg. Now, Josh, what can you tell us? What can we expect from all of this?
Yeah, happy Friday, Ashley. So a lot of pomp and circumstance going to take place across the pond. It starts 5 o'clock Eastern time, but that means 11 o'clock in the morning over there in England. And it's going to start with a really big procession going from Buckingham Palace to Westminster Abbey, a little more than a mile. But Westminster Abbey is no stranger to these coronations. They've been happening for nearly 1,000 years. Obviously, the last one was 1953 with Queen Elizabeth II, and now it's her son's turn. Remember, Queen Elizabeth was 25 years old or so when she eventually became queen. King Charles is going to be 74 years old, the oldest, newest king. And obviously now his queen Camilla will be crowned as well. And obviously there's going to be members of the royal family that will take part in this. You'll have Prince William, his son Prince George. Prince Harry will be there, but he will not have a role. His wife Meghan will not be in attendance either. But nonetheless, this will be a star-studded event for King Charles.
Hearing that President Biden will not be attending, who will be representing America?
So President Biden will not be in attendance, but that's not unnormal. No U.S. president goes to the coronations. It's not because we don't like the Brits. Obviously, we do. They're one of our oldest allies, but it's more of a symbolic gesture, obviously considering the American Revolution that we fought. But his wife, First Lady, Dr. Jill Biden, she'll be in attendance with the Biden's granddaughter, and obviously the special envoy to climate change for the Biden administration, John Kerry, the former Secretary of State. He'll be in attendance as well, but President Biden will not be. So if he's following along, he'll be doing so from Washington.
Josh, and what can we expect after the coronation?
Yeah, so right after the coronation, there'll be a procession back to Buckingham Palace. And then on Sunday night, there's going to be a giant concert that's going to be broadcast on the BBC. There's going to be a number of performers, including a couple of Americans, Lionel Richie and Katy Perry. And then as far as political power that goes for King Charles, doesn't really have any in this modern day, 2023. It's more of a symbolic gesture for the king. As you know, Britain is run by a parliament and the prime minister. And so he gets the really big crown, but I think that's where his power kind of starts and ends.
All right. HNN's Washington correspondent Josh Rothenberg, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon.
All right. Well, the Rainbow Warrior men's volleyball team is in the NCAA finals, and they're one step closer to achieving their quest of 3 straight national titles. How exciting.
I know. Game time, less than 24 hours away, but the fans are already getting pumped up. Let's send it over to our Kyle Chinen, who's live in Fairfax, Virginia at a party, Kyle?
Yeah, that's right. We're here at a UH Alumni Association party and rally. Hello, everybody. I'm just going to say the name because we were talking about it off camera. We're at PJ Skidoo's here in Fairfax, Virginia. It is lively. We got fans, alumni, everybody here cheering on the Bows, getting ready for that 3rd straight national title attempt on Saturday against UCLA. We have fans, and like I keep saying, so speaking of fans, we're going to bring in a fan right here. Thank you so much for joining us. What's your name, sir?
Kelly E. Torko.
All right, and talk about, we were talking about this off camera, talk about the stress that last night kind of gave us as UH fans.
We are happy to say that our heart attack is doing smoothly now that we have moved on to the championship tomorrow. We're relieved to have a gathering of fans and family and alumni, and we're happy here to support the boys on their next game and see what happens then.
And I know we want to talk about UCLA, but I got to take us back a little bit to last telling me about the in-house rivalry between you and your partner as far as Penn State goes.
Yes, this was a big game for us because my fiance, we're getting married in July, is a hardcore Penn State alum, and he had a blast at home when we lost our first game against them. So this was redeeming revenge, and it feels good because it was at the right moment, at the right time, and for the championship. They came out in full force, but of course we travel bigger, and I'm glad that we all came here to support Hawaii, and he's happy for us, so he needs to move on and get over it.
And moving on, we are moving on to championship Saturday. UCLA. I keep talking about the fans. The fan support here all the way out in Virginia. Talk about that and just seeing fellow UH fans coming out and supporting this team as they try to make history.
It's unreal. Not only fans traveling, but people who live near Virginia, Maryland, and work here, they are coming down. And then I also found out that because we won last night, people made bookings to even make it for the championship. I mean, we do this for our boys. They deserve it. They're so supportive of us and loving to us. Genuinely, we want to support them and take care of them all the way. And this is just a gathering for the rally. I mean, just to support them for today. But there's thousands literally outside, everywhere else doing things. So it's a great support system. I'm happy that everyone made the effort to come down to support and represent Hawaii to the best that they can.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for chatting. Thank you. That's right. Coming from a UH rally, it's championship match set for Saturday on ESPN2. 11 a.m. local time, Hawaii time, and 5 p.m. local time. That's the latest here. Reporting live in Fairfax, Virginia. Going to send things back to the Digital Center.
All right. Thank you so much, Kyle. Can't wait. I'm excited.
Yes, Kyle is doing some amazing work out there, keeping up with all the excitement there. Good luck to the Bows, and good luck to Kyle for working out the rest of the week there. Oh, my gosh. So exciting news. We're going to give you a quick look at your island forecast with our Guy Hoggy.
The good news as we head into the weekend is we're saying bye-bye to that stormy disturbance that, had some thunderstorms and heavy rainfall earlier in the week. And after that, we're going to have some really nice weather with a few passing showers. Remember, if the rain were heavy on this model, we'd show up as yellows and oranges, but we just see greens. And that means the rainfall over the next several days will be light. And they'll be passing in nature, mainly because the winds will be very breezy. So if you get caught in a shower, don't expect it to last very long because it's going to move through rather quickly. 20 to 30 mile an hour winds. That's very windy today and tomorrow. The only alert, however, associated with that is the small craft advisory. We're expecting just a few passing showers and a few passing showers into Tuesday. The winds will hold firm through Tuesday at 15 to 25, although they'll back off just a little bit starting on Sunday. Significantly slower winds are not expected back until sometime on Wednesday.
Well, it's time to take a look at what the internet is talking about. And this first story I actually saw on Twitter a few days ago, and now we're learning a little bit more about the backstory. This happened when a woman fell and was unable to get back up and save a stroller that was going toward a very busy street. Michelle Gill has the story.
It was just gone. The wind pushed it all the way towards the street, but it got saved by the guy.
By the time Jeremy Nash spotted the runaway stroller with the toddler on board, Ron Nessman was already running after it.
I go, I can get that, you know what I mean? And so I took off after it, and then I heard the lady screaming.
Video from the car wash shows the scary situation unfolding in Hesperia Monday. An older woman stumbles as she tries to grab a stroller after a big gust of wind pushed it with her nephew inside. The young boy was headed straight toward busy Bear Valley Road, almost into traffic lanes where cars zipped by.
That's why when I get up to her, I gave her a hug because I couldn't imagine. Both her knees were bloody. The lady had, and she was still like, you know what I mean? It's just sad. I couldn't imagine that. I'm just glad I was there.
Unemployed truck driver Ron Nessman had just finished a job interview and was with his sister at the car wash when he ran after the child. This video has now been viewed millions of times.
In the 24 hours since Ron Nessman's story has gone viral, he has been offered at least 5 jobs, from painting to driving a truck. But there is just one thing that is standing in the way.
I don't have transportation at this time, so it's kind of like, thank you very much, but I can't get there. I don't want to, you know what I mean? Seem like I'm ungrateful. I just can't get to work. I can, if it's something within bus distance, yeah, I can get there.
Nessman recently moved in with his sister after living on the streets for the last 8 years. Things are starting to fall into place. He's now known around the world as the man caught on video saving a little boy.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that is me. Yeah, I did do that. You know, and looking back, it's like, yeah, that was me. And it feels good.
In Hesperia, Michelle Geely.
I gotta say, Dylan, after having a baby, like, stories hit me differently. That one, oh my goodness.
Yeah, absolutely heart-stopping stuff right there.
Yeah.
Thank goodness for being in the right place at the right time for him. Let's go ahead and give you some good news now.
Yes, please.
Well, of course, today is May 5th, and that means it is Boys' Day, or as more commonly known as Children's Day, so to speak. But we're still celebrating it as Boys' Day, so we're going to honor some of the boys in our lives. Ashley, who is this adorable little one?
That's my little boy, Maverick. He's almost 5 months old, you guys. Oh, my gosh.
wow.
Time just flies by. But
When she sent me this picture, I said, look at that Oompa Loompa hair. Just so adorable. We love it.
That's after his first haircut. So he's not even 5 months old, and he already had to have a haircut because he has so much hair.
And of course, it is tradition for families to fly koi nobori or koi carp outside of their homes. This tradition is from Japan, but here in Hawaii, we embrace it. This is what I put outside our house here. I got that big orange one from my mom, and then my boyfriend Dustin got the 2 little ones. But I was doing some research on this, and the koi dates back to early Japan days, and it's meant to symbolize the structure of the family, the mother, the father, and it just pretty much honoring the children in the ohana. So super lovely tradition there.
Very cool.
I personally
Lots
love it.
to celebrate today.
Yeah.
It's also Cinco de Mayo, so go have a margarita.
Yes, indeed. We're going to end today with a live look at Westminster Abbey. Of course, the King Charles Royal Coronation is happening in a matter of hours. You can catch all of it on our airwaves starting at 11:30 tonight.